All right, so hi everyone. Welcome to another little Jason is working on a project stream. This is a project that we've been picking away at for a little while, at least in terms of getting an idea down on paper and saying, oh, we should do this, because it's one of those really obvious things that we should have been working on for a long time, but couldn't really either get the momentum going behind it or figure out what exactly we wanted to do. And that is our university e-learning office website. So what you're looking at right now is the current version of it, the version that people see and know suck. It's just this write-up. It's my old coworker's job description, actually. So it's just a list of the things that we do, providing consultation and support for faculty and students, mentoring faculty on a one-on-one basis, support course design. And some of these things aren't really things yet, or aren't really how the job has changed since my coworker was hired for the position, and then also here for 4 years for the position to evolve and grow and move on to something else. We don't really, we end up doing a lot of consultation for students, but that's not really a focus of the office the way that it was. We're much more focused on providing faculty support, and that's a clear kind of delineation that we want to try and focus to emphasize the fact that we do pedagogy support. So we're mostly here to consult with faculty, but this is what our website says. We have a couple links at the bottom. We have a shared e-learning email account. One of the big problems with this setup is it's kind of buried. We changed things a little bit, and that's already in effect. So if we go to the University of Prince Rhode Island front page, it's beautiful. It is actually really nice. I like it. It's nice and clean. But me knowing my way around here, for services on campus, go to the directory. And if we go through here, we did get our own section in here, but that's recent. Before we got the e-learning office listed in here as its own kind of section, you would have to scroll through, and we're looking for the Office of Skills Development and Learning. Obviously, that's where you go for online teaching support. And then in here, it's not in the sidebars, you have to go down here. You do get an image, UPI's e-learning office, and then read about UPI's e-learning office. So you needed to know that the e-learning office was underneath the Office of Skills Development and Learning. It no longer is, but you needed to have that piece of institutional knowledge in order to know where to go to get the contact information to get support, which is really dumb. It's not a good setup. So there are a couple of things that we fixed for that. So as we showed just briefly, there's that UPI directory listing for the e-learning office itself, and there is a little short URL, upi.ca/elearning. Hi LaDonna, hope your afternoon's going well. Thank you for joining us. I'm just going over through my gripes with how our website currently is, the steps that we've already made and put in place to change and make that better, and the steps that we're still kind of working through, as well as our project goals. So we have upi.ca/elearning. It's short and easier to remember, but still requires A, knowing that it exists, and B, the institutional knowledge that the e-learning office is called the e-learning office. There isn't a Center for Teaching and Learning. There isn't an institute for teaching and learning. There isn't an office for teaching and learning. So, website is buried, not useful content on the, not useful or accurate content on our page. So again, this is my coworker's job description, but how the office provides support and that kind of stuff has changed since they were hired. So what I did is I did a little project proposal. So we were moved out from the Office of Skills Development and Learning directly under the library. And that kind of forced our hand to make this change anyways. And I was hesitant about going just as a listing on the library website because there is a lot of stuff on the library website. And I think that that would further further exacerbate this issue of burying support that is really needed by a lot of people that don't have that kind of institutional support that knows, like, oh, the e-learning office used to be under the Office of Skills Development and Learning and is now under the Robertson Library. But around that time that we moved under the Robertson Library, another department on campus called the Faculty Development Office got moved under the Robertson Library as well. So, again, the Faculty Development Office suffered from kind of the same issues of, like, it's not called like the Center for Teaching and Learning or anything like that, which is like the most predominantly common kind of thing, but that's not necessarily like its like main role. So it's called the Faculty Development Office because I believe it focuses largely on professional development opportunities. Anyways, getting away from myself. Again, you need this institutional knowledge to access it. So I made a project pitch, first to my director and then to marketing and communications that control the exterior UPI website, with the intent of getting a simpler and more easily discoverable domain, and that was upi.ca/teaching support. We couldn't do just upi.ca/teaching because we thought that that might interfere with our Bachelor of Education program, which focuses on a lot of like teacher training. So we worked that out. We were able to talk to the education department, and they signed off on giving us teaching support. So I wrote like a couple of like our general project goals, and like if you have suggestions on like further things that we could be doing, like I'm all ears, because this is still a work in progress and we're still doing a lot of like the basic lifting here. But the overall goal was to connect the e-learning office with the office of, with the faculty development office to do more work for pedagogy support, make us more easily discoverable without requiring institutional support. So landing page objectives, so that's the shared teaching and support website, is to, our first goal was to easily connect new instructors to support without requiring prior institutional knowledge. The people that are going to be most in need of the services of the Faculty Development Office and the e-learning office are going to be instructors that are brand new to UPI, don't know what things are necessarily called, don't necessarily get pointed to us by faculty orientation or anything like that. We're working on that. And that was kind of like my poster thing as well, is again, reaching out to new faculty. So making it so that somebody that's like my little person that I was thinking about is somebody that is looking at UPI and thinking about applying for an academic position and trying to figure out before they apply what supports are available to them. And by using something like teaching support or instructor support and using that kind of language, instead of using e-learning office, faculty development office, these main terms, these institutional knowledge requiring terms. Yeah, that would be awesome. I'd love to see what your research showed that a lot of these institutes or centers were doing, because that's probably, like, if a bunch of them are doing it, it's probably a good idea. The other main landing page goal is to connect services on campus to encourage more partnerships between the Faculty Development Office and the e-learning office. So by forcing us onto like this shared space, it will kind of force us to work together more so anyways. And I think that's already kind of happening, but we'll see. Beyond that, we had some objectives for the e-learning office website itself. Inform instructors that the e-learning office provides pedagogy and technology support. A lot of people will easily come to us looking for support with our learning management system, which is Moodle. But we're both the instructional designers here that do that support are trained teachers. We research pedagogy. We talk about true course design and not just the mechanics of getting it up, and letting faculty know that we're there to support them for that, and making sure that they're aware that we can help with that. We want to connect instructors to the knowledge bases and resources that we developed here. So that was kind of a worry, is you spend a lot of time developing something like a course development checklist, just pulling something, just pulling that randomly. You develop this thing, but how do you get it out there? You can pull it out in one-on-one meetings and that kind of stuff, but that's not always like, that wasn't like the full intent of that. That was, and we do not have an external LMS support group. It is the e-learning office that does like this frontline support for a lot of that. Things like login and that kind of stuff go to IT a lot. Enrollments in courses and that kind of stuff that doesn't work like that is put in the registrar's office, the registrar's office. But like training people how to use it and that kind of stuff, currently we're picking up that slack. There's some like sysadmin stuff that gets split, but that's again split between e-learning and IT. So we're doing most of the LMS support. So that's a thing. And the last thing was to provide instructors easy and explicit ways to connect with ELO staff. So those were my objectives. Again, if you have a list of things that a lot of places are doing, it would be really awesome to see. Like, I know our situation is unique since we yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to do, is develop some of these some basic guides for use. I don't want to develop too much because I want to change our learning management system again. That's like one of the nice things about having the access that we have is I got to do a lot of good things. Actually, like, yeah, I can talk about that another time. So this is what we have so far. It's just a small website, teaching support. Faculty Development Office provide teaching support for instructors at UPEI. Offices are located in the Robertson Library. So we have a link to the Faculty Development Office. I'm not going to go into their content. That's their prerogative right now. I have some things that I'd like to kind of like show them that we could do. We're going to go to the e-learning office right now. So e-learning page opens up. We have e-learning office resources and our staff. So we start off with the mission for the office, general inquiries, with a link to our main email. These are the graphics that I made. Just to be a little eye-catching, if we go into inspect elements and that kind of stuff, I've added alt text for the image so that it will read what the services and that kind of stuff are, so we're not just relying on it, as well as introduction for what the instructional design role does. Below that, we have You Can Book Me's links. So it's youcanbook.me to book an appointment with us just in our calendars. And that's just integrated with our Google Calendars. And that's for both the instructional designers, just to encourage faculty that just happen on to this page to book a meeting with us if they want to go over any of those services. Again, this is a similar setup for our multimedia specialist, which is the only other person in the e-learning office. So there's 2 instructional designers, 1 multimedia specialist. A list of the services that they offer. And then this section I just want to develop. It'll have a link to our resource section. This isn't actually WordPress, this is Drupal. And if you mean like the inspecting, that's inspect would be on most browsers, either called inspect or inspect elements. But that alt text and that kind of stuff is what would be read by a screen reader, and it should appear if you hover over it. But I think that might just not be a thing that's enabled on this Drupal site. Oh, the You Can Book Me. It's just a site that I don't think it's WordPress, but it let me log in with Google and connect with my Google Calendar. Super easy to set up. I have my day just from 9 to 5 on here for faculty to book me for an hour. They click on the section, first name, last name, email, and then they have a booking in my calendar. I get notified. It's a good setup. It's very, very clean. And I've also added it to our staff page. So it's me, my little suit, a link to book an appointment in the staff page as well. Same thing for the other instructional designer. Because the multimedia specialist does a lot of like larger projects and that kind of stuff, she decided to opt out of that. So this is our resource page. So this is just kind of like a collection of the things that we have right now. It's already getting too long in it. Like it's gonna, like it can easily spiral out of control. So the goal here, I think, is to eventually use a course module setup that lets people search by term, and then maybe we can pre-populate with a couple of the basic ones that we would really want people to see, like our blog, the faculty and staff Moodle resource site, probably not our YouTube channel necessarily right away. So the e-learning blog will take us to the Medium account where I post blogs. My coworker posts blogs. Starter syllabus. This is a document that I'm still working on. So we're just collecting some of the services on campus right now that would be useful for students. So things like our university accommodation statement, the academic integrity statement, a statement about writing support center, and just figuring out what those pieces are. But there'll be a link to a Google document as a start. I'm not going to embed the blog on the site. But I don't know how easy that would be. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can do that, Brittany. I'd have to go into look at the CSS and see if I can do that. That's a good idea. And then, like our faculty and staff Moodle, this is like one of the things that we were developing, that we were talking about. So these kind of I think this is loading incorrectly because of I'm streaming, but it's there we go. Yeah, this is being really finicky, I think, because of OBS. But just like very straightforward. Go here, go here. Resources that are based off of screenshots, and then there'll be accompanying videos once those get recorded as well. And we're going to have that for kind of like the basic, this is what everybody does at like the base level use for our learning management system. And then just making sure the faculty are aware that that's there. Also in terms of like our learning management system, it exists up in this Moodle support link. So that link will take you to this course as well. And so far, that's all we have for this project right now. But if you want to send me ideas of what should be there, don't know about getting the blog to feed. I'm not sure how useful it would be on like the site itself. It might be nice to see like the topics and that kind of stuff. But the being able to be like, oh, I want to discuss teaching methods, and then you press a link and maybe it opens up like a booking to be like, oh, you want to like sit down and actually discuss, or co-developing assessments and that kind of stuff. Even if it's just like opens up an email with an already set subject line so that we know what they're looking for. But there's more, like there's more than there was before, but again, it's still not a lot. It's better than a job description. But yeah, if anybody has feedback on that, or you wanna, that would be great, Ladonna. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll keep an eye out for that link in Slack. So that's where this is at. If you have any suggestions for like other objectives and that kind of stuff that you think would be good to kind of like take this opportunity. We also want to have a workshop link on this. This can be using that course module again for the workshops that the e-learning office and faculty development office offer throughout the year to support teachers or support instructors at the university, and have that kind of like a shared calendar for that, just to get attendance up for the e-learning office as well as the faculty development office, and just make them a little bit easier to find. So again, the overall goal is just to make things more easily discoverable by people that don't necessarily have institutional knowledge. But like institutional hierarchies and arrangements and setups, like us being under the library and that kind of stuff. So yeah, thanks. It was half an hour, but yeah. Thank you very much. Like I'll be around Slack a little bit later on this evening. But if you want to talk about this or shoot me ideas, that'd be really great. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll talk in a bit.